They called it the impossible engine, a multi-billion-dollar prototype that had failed every test, every trial, and every technician's best effort. When the head of Titan Motors, CEO Benjamin Hargrove, dared the janitor's daughter to fix it, laughter erupted in the engineering hall like thunder on a stormy night, because who in their right mind would believe a teenager with grease on her jeans and a wrench in her hand could achieve what the world's top minds could not? But what happened next changed everything, not just for the company, but for the future of energy itself. Before we dive into this unbelievable story, let me know in the comments below from which lovely country you're watching this video. Your support means the world to us, and your comments make our day brighter. Now, sit back and listen closely, because what began as a joke turned into one of the most inspiring tales of brilliance hidden in plain sight. It all started in Detroit, Michigan, inside the buzzing industrial hive of Titan Motors' elite R&D facility. This was where cutting-edge engineering collided with bleeding-edge ambition. Benjamin Hargrove, a shrewd man in his late 50s with a jaw like steel and a voice that could command a boardroom in a silence, had one mission: to change the world by creating the most efficient combustion-electric hybrid engine ever conceived. But despite pouring millions into the prototype called the PHE9, the so-called Phoenix engine, every test failed. It overheated, it misfired, it guzzled fuel instead of conserving it. Engineers came and went. Contracts were terminated. Morale hit rock bottom. That's when 17-year-old Ellie Monroe entered the story. Ellie, a wiry, bright-eyed girl with an oil-smeared baseball cap and untamed curls, was no stranger to engines. Her father, Carl Monroe, was the night janitor at Titan Motors, and while he swept the floors, Ellie often waited in the break room, her textbooks open but her eyes fixed on the engines through the observation window. She'd sneak out to peek at blueprints, sketch improvements in her notebook, and sometimes even whisper to herself how she'd rewire this or realign that. Unknown to the engineers, Ellie had been watching every test, every failure, and silently taking notes. Her mind wasn't just hungry, it was ravenous. Absorbing thermodynamics from YouTube tutorials, combustion mechanics from old engineering manuals she found in discarded company bins, and machine logic from her own intuition, honed while rebuilding lawnmower engines in her dad's garage since she was 10. The day the challenge was issued was both humiliating and historic. It was during the quarterly staff meeting, and tension was thicker than the smog outside. If anyone at all, thinks they can fix this thing, speak up, Hargrove barked, his voice laced with exasperation. That's when Ellie, standing at the back with a mop bucket beside her, raised her hand. The room froze. "Sir, I might be able to help," she said quietly. A few engineers chuckled. One even snorted. "Who are you?" Hargrove asked, turning his hawk eyes on her. "Ellie Monroe. My dad's the janitor." Hargrove's eyebrow rose like a crane hook. "You? Fix the PHE9? That engine's beaten MIT graduates and NASA retirees." Ellie didn't flinch. "I've been watching. I think I know what's wrong." The room erupted, but Hargrove, half amused, half infuriated, waved his hand. "Fine," he growled. "You've got 1 hour. Make it run, or you'll clean the floor with your pride." That was the dare. Cameras rolled. Engineers crossed their arms. Ellie approached the Phoenix engine like a surgeon about to operate. First, she removed the central housing, revealing a tangled, overheating mess of misaligned microturbines and incompatible software mapping. "Your intake valves are choking each other," she mumbled, "and your combustion algorithms fighting the hybrid controller." She didn't ask permission. She just moved like someone who belonged. She recalibrated sensors, swapped out the faulty capacitor with a salvaged one from the test bench, adjusted the turbine blade pitch, then rewrote the software code using a developer terminal left unlocked. "Who let her touch the OS?" one engineer cried. But the lead technician, a quiet man named Hughes who'd secretly read her notebook weeks ago and suspected her potential, stayed silent. When she hit the ignition button, the room held its breath. The engine hummed to life. Not the rattling, choking sputter they were used to, but a smooth, clean whir, rising like a symphony crescendo. Numbers streamed across the diagnostic screen. 95% efficiency. Zero misfires. Minimal heat loss. Silence fell, followed by gasps. One engineer dropped his coffee. Another whispered, "Holy!" Benjamin Hargrove stood like a statue, lips parted in disbelief. He approached Ellie slowly, like she was a bomb that had just gone off. "How did you know?" he asked. Ellie, breathing hard, wiped her hands on her jeans. "I listened, watched, learned. You were trying to force the engine to dominate the hybrid system. But they're meant to dance together. You made them fight. It wasn't just the engine she fixed. It was the entire perception of who gets to innovate." Overnight, Ellie became a global phenomenon. News outlets swarmed the facility. Teen Janitor's daughter fixes billion-dollar engine was on every front page. Titan Motors offered her a full scholarship to MIT, a paid internship, and an R&D lab with her name on the door. But Ellie had a different dream. "I want to start a foundation," she told Hargrove, "for girls who want to build but don't have access. I want to find the hidden engineers, the ones sweeping floors, watching from windows, fixing lawnmowers in their backyards." Hargrove, now humbled, agreed. And so was born the Phoenix Initiative, a global movement to empower underprivileged youth in engineering and technology. Ellie became its first director at age 18. Her father, Carl, cried on live television. "I always knew she was special," he said, his voice cracking. "I just never imagined the world would know it too." But that's not the end. Because just 2 years later, Ellie and her team unveiled the next generation of the Phoenix engine. This time, 100% clean energy, compact, and built entirely from recycled materials. It powered everything from city buses to rural farm machinery in developing countries. The girl who once waited in the break room changed the world. And it all began because someone dared her to try. So next time someone tells you you're not qualified, not worthy, not enough, remember Ellie Monroe. Remember that brilliance doesn't always wear a lab coat. Sometimes it wears grease-stained jeans and dreams bigger than billion-dollar budgets. And if you're still watching this, tell me in the comments below, what's your dream? And where are you watching from? We read every single message, and we believe in your story too. Until next time, stay inspired and keep chasing the impossible.